Alright, so this is going to be the first video of 3, and it's going to be about the most likely explanation of things surrounding like aliens. Okay, so this one's going to be about UFOs. Alright, so UFO sightings, as far as I know, they started around about like just after World War II, for the next kind of 15-20 years, so in the 50s. They happened generally in America, the famous ones, and they happened generally speaking near Air Force bases and military bases. Okay, so the most likely explanation that I see for that is that these sightings people were having back then were people witnessing experimental technology, military technology, which is why they occurred near military bases, and that this technology was basically stuff that was probably being worked on during World War II, or was being built as a result of the technology, the leap forward that they made during World War II, and maybe even combining some of the tech that the Nazis were working on with what the Americans were working on. Okay, so the actual sightings, I think, were military equipment. Okay, now the next part of it is the alien and the idea of an alien. And I think that also comes from around about the same time period, like generally speaking, like as in when it started to become really popular in people's minds. And I think it came from popular culture, like came from movies and TV shows and comics. Right, so we've got like weapons being tested in the 50s, and we've got all of this media coming out, this fiction coming out with the concept of little green men in flying saucers coming out around about the same time. And I think one possible purpose for this is that, like, the alien in the media, the fictional alien, was not completely organic, and the idea was being pushed and encouraged in movies and stuff like that, to get it out into people's minds, so that when people did witness these like these weapons tests, okay, or these new avionics tests, they would, well, there'd be a few things. They'd be less likely to report it, perhaps, because they don't want to be seen as crazy now, okay, because people are going to say, oh, so you saw an alien. So they're going to be less likely to share their experience, which is pretty useful if you're trying to do something secret. You don't want people accidentally seeing it, telling the whole world about it. Another part would be that people would be less likely to believe them if they did tell anyone about it. Again, which is good if you're trying to keep things secret from like your enemies, from the Russians or whatever. And the other thing is, it's such a kind of fantastical idea that I think you would encourage a lot of false reporting and people just hoaxing and lying about it, because they're seeing it in the media all the time and they want to bring a bit of excitement into their life or whatever. And so I think it would muddy the water. So say there's like one weapons test and there's no idea about aliens out there. Like, one person might see it and they might report it to a newspaper and they might run the cover. The Russians might read it, and it might not be good for like the security of the nation. But with the idea of aliens everywhere, you don't just have one report. You've got someone playing a prank, reporting something. You've got someone who's fucking a bit crazy, who's reporting the experience they had as being a UFO, and blah blah blah. So basically, for the Russians, wherever the enemies are, not only are the genuine reports not coming forward as much or being shared as much, there'll be so much more bullshit that's being laid out for them. Okay, so yeah, and I think I just want to say as well, like, even like it's so much in culture, this idea of the alien, that if if I just saw something flying through the sky right now, that was completely bizarre and didn't look like anything I'd seen before. I'm not talking about the flyboard there. I'd probably perceive it first as being alien, and that's because that's something that I'll have experienced like thousands of times, okay, in media, this image of the alien. So if I see something really weird, that's how I'm going to perceive it. Like, you can get some like 5-year-old kid, ask him to draw a picture of an alien, and you'll know what you're talking about. You'll draw like a flying saucer or some shit. So yeah, it's very much like ingrained in our minds from very early on, and it's repeated. Okay, next video.